The situation also in the West Bank is escalating. Since the beginning of the escalation, we have been witnessing demonstrations that are taking place in different Palestinian cities, which also have resulted in dozens of fatalities as well as uh, 1,700 approximately injuries.
Now, medical sources in Gaza say more than 50 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli airstrikes overnight. It's also claimed 5 others died when a mosque was hit in the West Bank. Israel's military again is warning people in the north of Gaza to move south ahead of an expected ground offensive following Hamas's attacks a fortnight ago. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is calling for more aid to reach the area after just 20 vehicles were allowed to cross the Rafah border from Egypt yesterday. Well, let's speak to Nebal Farsakh, who is a spokesperson for the Palestine Red Crescent, currently based in Ramallah in the West Bank. First of all, just tell us, what are you hearing about the situation from an aid perspective on the ground inside Gaza?
The situation is so alarming and heartbreaking. For over 16 days now, Gaza have been under intense bombardment. 2 million civilians are in need. For every humanitarian need, we're talking about 2 million civilians who are with no water, no food, and also with no electricity. Hospitals in Gaza are witnessing a collapse status. All hospitals running out of medicine and medical supplies as well. This is along with fuel, which is urgently needed to have electricity, since all hospitals now completely rely on backup generators and they need fuel to continue having electricity. So the situation is very alarming. Yesterday, we were able to receive the first shipment of the humanitarian aid. About 20 trucks were received from the Egyptian Red Crescent, the Palestine Red Crescent, with UNRWA. We're able to unload the trucks to UNRWA trucks, and then which was transported to UNRWA warehouses in Gaza. Today, UNRWA will start the distribution process based on a list that was received from the Egyptian Red Crescent. Some of the aid is for the WHO, some for the WFP, some for the Palestine Red Crescent, and some for the Qatari Red Crescent.
So it's basically being distributed between all the different aid organisations, because that was one of the things, wasn't it? One of the prerequisites was that the aid didn't go to Hamas to then be distributed. Just explain to us, what difference will that aid make? I mean, I was seeing earlier on the chief of UN Relief was saying they're not sure if any trucks are even going to get in today at all.
What we have received is just a glimpse of hope. Is absolutely only a drop in the ocean of need, while all hospitals in Gaza are now witnessing a collapse status, lacking of medicine and medical supply along with fuel. So the quantity that was received is absolutely not enough to prevent a humanitarian catastrophe that is unfolding if the borders will continue to be closed. Now, dozens of trucks are still at the Rafah crossing border, waiting for approval from Israeli occupation forces to let it in. We still count in the international community to continue advocating for the entry of aid, not only from Rafah crossing border, but from all borders, even controlled from the Israeli occupation forces. Because Israel, as an occupying power, has the responsibility to ensure to provide Palestinian civilians in Gaza with their basic humanitarian need. So it's the responsibility of the occupying power to allow the entry of aid into Gaza.
And Nebal, just tell us briefly, if you would, you're in the West Bank. What is the situation there right now?
The situation also in the West Bank is escalating. Since the beginning of the escalation, we have been witnessing demonstrations that are taking place in different Palestinian cities, which also have resulted in dozens of fatalities as well as 1,700 approximately injuries. We have witnessing increasing violence whether from Israeli occupation forces or the settlers against civilians, as well as against our medical missions. We have recorded at least 35 different violations against our medical teams when they were trying to help save people, other people's lives. We are denied access, delayed access in many occasions, along with targeting our ambulances and medical staff with live ammunition.